The Department of Homeland Security has hit a milestone in one of its modernization efforts. One of its biggest components has finished its transition to a new financial management system, and another component is on deck. Troy Edgar is the Chief Financial Officer at DHS. Troy, welcome. Thanks very much for coming on the program. Where are you on this modernization journey? TSA is the component that I'm referring to. The Coast Guard is on deck. Where are you in this modernization effort, Troy?
Well, thank you, Francis, for having me on the show. It's been quite a journey for DHS. It's been about 13 years. And, over the last 2 years, we've had a significant amount of progress. I'm really excited about. TSA kind of is a major milestone. As you know, CWMD, a very smaller group, went live in 2018, Coast Guard coming up next fall. We really are trying to take advantage of this opportunity. There's a lot of people that have had 13 years of their career tied to this implementation. So I'm also really focused on trying to rebrand the progress of this and making sure that the actual benefits that we're trying to be gained through this process are actually realized, and the people that have dedicated their public service to this really get the recognition they deserve.
What has been the kind of that pushed you over the edge? You mentioned the small office that came online 2018. TSA now. What's driving this? If you're going to be able to bring another component with Coast Guard on in a year, it sounds like you've kind of hit a tipping point of some sort.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, we started moving away from a federal shared services model, trying to take a little bit more of the control of the destiny at DHS. I'd also say that, we've got a great chief information officer, chief procurement officer. So we're really trying to tie that partnership at the headquarters with the leadership of Pat Rose out at TSA as their CFO, and really tried to kind of look forward. Now working with Admiral Fedor over at the Coast Guard, it's given us a tremendous opportunity to really build kind of one voice, one communication. I think it's important too, because it's such a big program. There was a lot of vendors and other folks that needed to be able to be communicated to directly. And I think that really creating one central program office where we were able to get that communication out and track progress and hold vendors and our own staff responsible to be able to make progress has been a game changer.
What is different operationally about the way TSA goes about its mission from a financial management perspective after this modernization's happened, Troy?
Well, what's interesting is that you kind of got to look at it from a big picture perspective. If you were to ask TSA that question, just like any large scale ERP, when you first go live, I think the users are probably at their highest level of uncertainty, fear, and doubt. And so the user experience isn't always the best at the beginning. Operationally, though, if you look at it through this process, we've been able to achieve over 8 yearly clean audits. We've been able to, by going live with TSA, actually helped us extend from a department to move off the GAO high-risk list, which is something that's been very important for me personally. And then, so what it does is just really cuts down into basically simple business processes and less complex systems.
You talked about the collaboration a moment ago with Karen Evans, the CIO, Soraya Correa, leading procurement. I imagine Angela Bailey with Human Capital is involved in this also. This is really the core of what Congress was getting at with FITARA. How has that collaboration, Troy, enabled you to meet? I can't imagine this was perfectly smooth. Whatever challenges you ran into, what did that collaborative relationship enable you to do, Troy?
It provided a tremendous amount of power to the team. All the folks that you just mentioned, it's just been probably one of my greatest benefits of being here is that I've just had the greatest partnership with those folks. When you start dealing with vendors, you go with Soraya and her team on the CPO side, Karen Evans with all of her years of experience, and then within CIO to be able to have that power. One of the issues we had as we were getting ready to go live, we had one vendor and internally some issues on resourcing. We were able to use Karen's network, not only within DHS, but outside to be able to kind of pull this thing through. And I think really having one unified voice from the department is that we all tell our staffs this is going to happen. We both really reinforce that. And when we have issues, we kind of get together privately and can really talk through things to make sure we are having one voice out there. So I've been very proud of that relationship, and we've been able to make significant progress.
Have you learned lessons from the implementation so far that you can apply and that your successors can apply as they try to bring more components online and consolidate this system throughout the department, Troy?
Yeah, I think a couple things that I think were really good lessons. We set up a joint program office. So, before we would have program offices set up in the businesses, we'd have it here. We had the federal through the federal shared services. By taking central control and then really having equal voices with the CPO, CIO, CFO, and Chico, we were able to kind of, again, have one platform to communicate, track status, et cetera. Probably the second is we focused on business process. For people that follow me as successors in here, people would ask, well, wow, 13 years, did you focus on the system? And I would say, no, we focused on the business process. We did utilize the CUSMO, or the centralized way of doing business process improvements across the federal government, and we've driven them into DHS. And so at that point, some of the businesses that we haven't done, like Coast Guard, ICE, and FEMA, they've already started the initiatives around business process. I think that will start to pay dividends as we start catching up with them.
Troy, we have about 30 seconds left. You are in your last days as the CFO at DHS. What are you going to do when you wake up Thursday morning?
Well, probably have a lot more time. The thing that has been pretty action-packed for a lot of different reasons. This financial systems modernization is a big deal, but a lot of fee changes that we had to take into account for COVID-19. A lot of stuff, shipbuilding and the Coast Guard. So it's just been just a tremendous experience. I think for me, getting up on that the day after, I really feel that being able to just look back at great public service. I think for me, it's been a lot about public service, and I hope at some point in the future that I have the opportunity to contribute my skill set back to the U.S. government.
Troy, Edgar, thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.